All right, my friends, I think we're okay. Good evening. Sorry, good afternoon's probably better. All right. Good with that. Good with that. Good with that. Think we're holding better here than we are on Facebook. All right. That should get some activation going. And with that being said, I will get started. Let me scroll down and make sure I don't have any notifications, and then we will start facilitating. There we are. All right, my friend. I think we're holding strong here. I don't see any notifications here. I don't see any lags. All right. So I know you can't do much on Facebook. I shared something. Just let it be. All right. So good afternoon, YouTube. After about 2 days absence, we are back. You'll have to excuse this part. All right. So working on quitting. And yes, it's a very nasty habit. Welcome back to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. It's been one hell of a couple days of a ride, and that's okay. It happens. Nice to see you, Chris. Don't worry about that platform. Platform eventually will be in the rear view mirror. So let's get started. If you want to privately message some friends, you can, Chris, but you don't have to. Again, what we do is, before you met me, is we actually use attraction versus promotion. All right. And as you see, using promotion on certain platforms is a bad thing for us. You're experiencing it now. I just got done experiencing it. So I'm going back to basics again. Something I used to do in recovery is they don't advertise. Okay. They use word of mouth. That's the similar thing we're going to do here. One, because I want you to get back to your Facebook streaming. Okay. So that being said, my friends, welcome. It's been a harrowing couple days, losing sleep, missing all my friends, missing Chris and others. So let's get started. All right, you're not losing your feed, paranormal investigators or practice individuals. You might be losing your structure. That is the actual title of this podcast today, is you are not losing the feed. You are losing the structure. I'll repeat it again slower. You're not losing the feed if you're podcasting or content creating. Perhaps you're losing your ritualistic or investigations structure. Good afternoon. Today is not about spirits. It is not about interference. It is not about energy attacks. It is about discipline. Because most paranormal practitioners or most paranormal investigators don't lose their signal, they lose their structure. I'm losing my signal, but I'm working on that. Okay? They lose their structure, and when you lose your structure, everything you do suddenly feels supernatural or aggregatory. In other words, everything starts feeling supernatural. Who else is with us, Chris? Can you tell me? Let me give you something uncomfortable, all right? And before we go any further, we are not here to challenge anybody's beliefs. This is just a framework, and please know that this framework will not be for everybody. How are we there? We have a guest, Tracy Stant. It's been a while. How have you been? I talked to you the other day. Yes, I know who you are. So let's get into the uncomfortable part, guys. The moment something goes wrong in your life, does your explanation show your maturity level? Are you flying off the handle? Are you throwing things? Is it the world's fault? Or are you taking the containment side and you're saying, you know what, maybe I need to pause. Maybe I need to destabilize, etc., etc. And so when you pause, you restabilize. Let me see who else is in here. Dragon Bone Born Rising. Good evening from the Vale in Wales. I seem to be attracting a bunch of people from across the pond. If you guys know our friend Phil Cultval, he runs Dogman TP Hunting. He's a paranormal cryptid hunter. Great guy, great bloke. He is over there with you guys, I believe, in Britain. So from USA to Britain, welcome. We need more of you blokes over here because this country's in trouble. That is literally why I'm on camera. All right, there is just so much escalation and activation when it comes to paranormal and witchcrafts that somebody has to start standing up and trying to educate, re-educate, and reintroduce basics and get people to stop and think. So thank you for tuning in this afternoon. You're good, Chris answered. He does not. Very good answer. By the way, every time I ask a question in our podcast here, you guys are encouraged to answer. Please be honest, completely honest here. We do not look down on you if you have no freaking idea what's going on. That's part of the idea behind the podcast is you're in beginning to advanced stages of your business or your ritual discipline, okay, or investigations team workmanship, meaning you have working relationships and you two are trying to become somebody who wants to start from responsibility, not be like those popular individuals on TV. Dragonborn, blessed be, welcome. The Vale in Wales is in the house today, so I will give everybody who tunes into our podcast free plugging capabilities here on YouTube, because as far as I know, it is within our parameters as business owners and partners to plug you guys. Well met. Tanya's your wife, welcome. So that brings me to the point, Chris, I was not able to remember to bring up on Facebook, and since you're both here tonight, the Brotherhood of Male Witches will continue to be male only. I have had a couple brief meetings with my admins there, and they really, 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 really would like to keep that business structure as male. But here's the loophole that I can do for the females that want to follow me or to learn some witchcrafts or Wicca or whatnot. What you can do is you can follow Paranormal Witchcrafts LLC. I will mentor you from screen like this, okay? Especially people like Tanya and Danielle and others that really want to see Brotherhood offer mentoring to females. That's the best I can do. I have to honor the business structure that we did 5 years ago. Okay. The only other thing I can do to honor you people that would like to follow and get some mentorship going is I can create another Facebook group. Okay. I'm willing to create another YouTube group here, but it takes about a year for us to promote 50 individuals. If I could get a commitment from people to let me know that they would work behind the scenes to help me get 50 individuals to open a second channel here, I would. Okay, so I will leave it on the table like that for you guys. What we are is a 501c hybrid business model. We specialize in educations and services. Let us continue. So hopefully that's a compromising factor I can do for you guys. Please remember, I am helping about 25,000 individuals, give or take. Indeed. Okay. Because most paranormal practitioners don't lose their signal, we're not talking about spirits. They lose their structure. They start getting immature. They start getting turned up. Beautiful. Who are we? That's somebody on Facebook. Cool. Let me get that out of my way. Any other questions? All right. So let's get into the question. When something fails, when something goes wrong, your explanation reveals your maturity level. And this afternoon, we are raising that level. So when you lose your structure, everything starts feeling like it's something that it is not. Let me give you something uncomfortable. The moment something goes wrong, your explanation will show us, everybody around you, your maturity level based on whether it's a thumbs up, a mad emoji, your commenting, your posture, your wording framework shows everybody exactly how you feel on here. Okay. So please take note of that for the rest of the year. If you want to let people know you're speaking kindly of them, make sure you're articulating and you're posting, you're commenting. Your body language and the way you reveal yourself in silence lets people like me and other people know what you're truly feeling. Okay. And so this is a way to get around that. I have a feeling that that might be something I need to look into later, but my phone is off. So the moment something goes wrong, your explanation will reveal your maturity level to everyone around you. Me, Chris, Tanya, Dragonbone. All right. Our friend Tracy as well. Okay, everyone's going to start noticing you're acting funny all of a sudden when all of a sudden something happens. All right, everyone's going to see that from you. Everybody. You can't explain that away, guys. You have to learn how to keep yourself calm in an investigation. You can't use that type of energy towards your ritual. You're throwing a boomerang out there, and karma's coming back for you when you least expect it. You could be 5, 10 years down the road living your best life, and that spell you did from a place of ugliness is going to come back and slap you right across the face. And then you're going to blame the world, and then you're going to do what? You're going to show your maturity level again. We'll get into some suggestions on how you can change that in yourself if you feel like you understand what we're talking about. Let's move on. So this afternoon, we're going to raise the level. Here's the first engagement question. Again, this framework will not be for everybody. And again, this may not be for you. And again, we aren't here to call anyone out. You too. When something fails during a ritual or during your investigation, what is your first explanation? And I'll give you choices. Not the second one. The first one. Take a 10-second pause. Is it, answer below as well, something doesn't want this out or the likes? This is you saying it in your answer. Or is it the spirits are draining our equipment or our batteries? Or another option, the algorithm is suppressing our live feed if you're having trouble. Or there's interference. You're pushing the blame out, is the point. So answer below. Thank you, Chris. You do know Phil very well. Phil is the British Joe Rogan. That is officially his nickname for me. Mr. Phil Caldwell is such a cool cat that I've given him the astute name of the British Joe Rogan. He will let you be who you are. All right. And that is what has kind of sort of made Joe Rogan the infamous individual he is. Truth be told, Joe Rogan is just a guy like me, just a guy like Phil, just a guy like Dragonbone, just a guy like Chris doing his own thing. Okay. And so I think it's a great compliment to give Phil. I know Phil might struggle with such an astute accomplishment, but I see what Phil is doing. I watch how Phil and his teams act, and those are the people I want to be like. Okay. So, Phil, if you're listening, thank you again for you and Natalie and all your support. I'm going to plug Blue Mountain Paranormal throughout this because in 2 days we will be driving about 80 miles an hour, give or take, towards Pennsylvania, towards the Millertown area. We will be going to a place called Manor. I believe it's called Wilson Manor, I believe. There is an old speakeasy in the basement. The lead investigator is Matthew Hornick, all right? His Facebook profile is Matt Hornick, so please call him Matt. He's the lead investigator. He is not the owner, though, okay? So it's going to be a meet and greet, Gatsby themed. I have everything I need ready to go already. We start charging stuff today. We're ready. All right. If you don't know who Blue Mountain Paranormal is, go check them out here on YouTube. YouTube.com/Blue Mountain Paranormal. YouTube.com/Flying Chariots. All right, The Rising. That is Dustin Shueda. I'll even give a shout out to my old friend Jack Chavez, who we've since parted ways. All right, but if you're new in the paranormal investigation scene in the Chicagoland area, there's a group here on Facebook called Paranormal Chicago. He will be holding a exhibition in the Rosemont area. All right, June 16th or so. If you would like to attend, I believe it's $1 to get in. Okay. So there you go, Jack, my friend. I hope you guys are doing well over there in La La Land. And we look forward to hearing good things from you guys eventually. Let's move on to, or is it the containment answers of this? And I'll take some questions first. Draining equipment. They feed on the energy because it gives them more energy, correct? Maybe they're a psychic vampire and they don't know it. The spirits love to feed on devices. They also love to feed on your emotions, especially if you're doing ritual work and you're not disciplined. Now, use the containment protocol, and here's what it could be: a power supply issue, network congestion, like I have going on Facebook. My Verizon home network router modem cannot handle the traffic of peak hours. Okay. That is me saying, well, it's irritating, but the truth is, all right, you don't want to push out the negative, is what the point is. Stop aggravating stuff before you even get in the door for your investigations. Stop purporting your power when you haven't shown anyone around you any power. Okay. So the proper response should be, let's check our power supply. Let's check the environmental standards like Matt and myself will do. We heard with the HVAC, let's pause. Don't immediately, hey, hey. All right. Now you got everybody in the room all jacked up. Now me and Matt got to go, whoa. All right. And all right. Break the silence and get everyone to chill out. Check the environment, check your cables. Let's go deeper. Stay with me. All right. Have the human decency to have more than a 5-second attention span this afternoon. Please and thank you. Here's a real world example. Your stream drops in a few seconds or a few minutes. Your escalation mindset for some of you, every time we get something big, this happens. I've said that. All right. Why do you think I'll cut the stream? Okay, because everybody gets frustrated when something goes wrong. If you're doing this during a live stream, that is immediately activating where there's a drift and where there should be a drift. Let your frustration be the lesson. Pause yourself, lead investigators, etc. If you don't want to, again, and you want to be the people like on TV, go right ahead and do that. Just know that you are using authority in the wrong context. Here's the containment mindset. Remember, the name of our education system for paranormal witchcraft and Brotherhood of Male Witches is containment over chaos. Sometimes the best tool you can use in ritual and investigation is your body and your senses. Okay, guys. The containment mindset says, okay, this was a technology issue. This was a personal issue, and it was too high, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we're going to do. Go back to the checklist. Check our people, check our environment, check our tech, restabilize. Remember, you can even say something as simple as pause. And that immediately resets your investigation. You'll immediately have to restart your ritual. But if you can teach yourself this, you're going to save yourself a load of hurt and trouble along the way. One, you're not going to be purporting anything that isn't real. You're going to be teaching yourself real human capability, habits, keeping yourself in check, keeping yourself right in your head and your mind. That way, allowing you to stay disciplined in your ritual if you're a witch or a pagan, or a paranormal investigator, you will have your investigation goggles on, and you're not going to let the human faculties get in the way of your investigation. Sounds like a good plan. Let's move on. Real world example for the next one is, say your EVP recorder has static. Somebody in the corner goes, "We got something." That's known as escalation. Here's what you should be doing in the containment over chaos mindset. One, pause. Maybe it's the gain was too high with the technology and it just it had a brain fart. Maybe our clothing has friction on it because it's cold. There's static electricity in the air. All right, and that'll fuck up your EVP as well. Maybe it's nearby electrical interference as well, team. Let's calm down. That is the proper response. That is the proper authority to use as the lead investigator, or if you're priest or priestess and you're in the coven, etc. Whether you do or not is not up for debate here. Okay. This framework will not be for every. What is a speakeasy? Well, in the States here, my friend, what we would call it is the bootleg era. Remember in the 30s, there was a bootleg era. You couldn't consume alcoholic beverages and etc. And it was the mob time back then, the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. All right, and that's what we're referring to when we use the term in quotation marks, a speakeasy. I'll show you that if I can find it. I cannot. I'll show you the glasses though for speakeasy, the Gatsby. It's like the mob era type stuff. And so there's a purple shirt, and there's a whole getup. This is part of it, and I like these. I don't know why. All right, so we'll throw them on. But yeah, so a speakeasy is back in the day in the USA, Dragonborn Rising. There was a number of, I believe it was under 10 years, where prohibition for alcohol was in effect across the country. And so people were like going underground, per se, in their basements, blacking out their businesses, windows, basements, and they were conducting back alley business with alcohol. And the term over here came to be called speakeasy. In other words, it was kind of like a secret type of thing going on, and the society termed it speakeasy. And so it was mobsters, it was gangsters, it was bootleggers that were selling shit would go to speakeasies, kind of like the mob would. And so we're going to have a Gatsby styled ghost hunt on Friday the 27th with Blue Mountain Paranormal lead investigator Matt Hornick and owners and other members, Ashley, I want to say Adam, and I want to say Ryan. Okay. Here's the difference. Escalation in your investigation, like the people on TV, only creates volatility. It only creates a sense of sensationalism, and it only creates mystery. Do you want memorable investigations, or do you want credible ones? Containment creates authority, creates mastery, creates discipline, creates safety from moment one to moment end. And mastery grows channels. Mystery just grows instability. So the people you're watching on YouTube that are sensationalizing all their hunts are doing nothing but growing mystery through instability and playing on your emotions. Concertable ones, correct? Correct. Did I help answer your question, Dragonbone? I hope so. Let's move on. Let's go psychological. Let's go deep, if you guys will. All right, remember, this framework is not for everybody. If you find yourself getting uncomfortable, good. If it makes you argumentative, then you need to hard left and exit the podcast. If you're leaning in, like, well, maybe, then these are the people we're looking for. When something destabilizes, do you become more intense or do you become more methodical? comment below. Intensity can sometimes feel supernatural. Intensity can sometimes feel powerful. But intensity is often panic, wearing makeup like putting lipstick on a fucking pig. And that's what most paranormal investigators are actually doing in front of your faces. Say you're doing a stream and you lose midstream like I have, and you start raising your voice and you start speeding up and you start blaming shift, etc., like I have in the past, right? Then you'll see me use a containment response. All right. And then we'll break before, all hell breaks loose and my temper has gotten the best of me. I will break professionally and the live, and then off camera, you'll see the kicking, the screaming, the son of a bitch, the blah, 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 giving myself a timeout. I do the breath work we talk about, the 3 breaths, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. I take a 10-minute break. I let myself shift. All right. But for those of you who don't, or don't know I've done that, now I'm telling you, and now you do. But so that's how that works. The escalation response is that you start getting upset. The containment response is this: your voice slows, your breathing steadies, your checklist activates. You start looking at, well, maybe it is my feed, my technology, maybe it is the person, maybe it is the clothing we're wearing. All right. So you're assuming blame when you do that, when you just start getting upset and all right. And that's why you'll see me calmly end a stream when I can, so I can go be upset without affecting everybody in front of the camera. You don't want to do that. Okay. And I have been mistaken, and that's why we made the amends towards the end of last year. But anyways, so now let's connect this to each of you in a more relatable way. Thank you, Chris, for the encouragement. Great job with the engagement. Great job, everybody tuning in with the engagement. What I'm trying to get you guys to do is engage. I want your answers. Okay. Um, I'm not going to make fun of you if you have no idea what we're talking about. I'm not going to make fun of you if you try to attack me. I really want you just to engage. That's the point. All right. That's why it's so ruffling, is because we're trying to get people to lean in, think, all right, and make sure they're not doing it themselves. All right. Or if they know, or if you're learning, all right, and you see this around you, you're going to stay away from those individuals. We want to keep you guys safe, responsible, ethically, and morally correct in your rituals and your investigations. Isn't that fair? I think so too. So when your revenue dips, do you blame shadow suppression? Because that's what I was doing a couple days ago. Like, I can't believe this. But after I calmed down and did my breath work, I realized, one, I needed to get on this laptop and scrub it again. And it had already been 3 hours in, so you can imagine how irritated I was. All right, so those are the things we're talking about. All right, as I let myself and teach myself to be healed, etc., I am trying to also pass that wisdom on to my teammates, etc., and brotherhood and paranormal. Or do you blame collective energy? Do you blame your competitors? You get the idea here. And you know what? We all do it as humans. That's why I say all the time, I'm not going to be condescending towards you. I'm not going to be the one casting blame. I'm not going to be the one throwing names out there, because that's not what you want to do. When you do that, you're like everybody else. We are supposed to be the 1%ers. All right. So let's act like the 1%ers and continue. Use the escalation loop model, the breath work there. Okay. That was my point. If it wasn't elaborated or articulated in this script, again, I analyze myself after every live as well. I actually have a checklist you guys can't see. Am I reacting the right way? Am I controlled? Am I slow enough? Am I too fast? Am I stopping enough times to engage? All of this matters to me because it matters to you. So the more you guys engage in our podcast, the more you're helping our subscribers, the more you're helping YouTube recognize what we're doing, and the more we're getting our message out there. So thank you to all 3 of those if you're doing it. Okay, let's do A predictability under pressure builds authority. Exercise together here, if you will. Comment below hell yes or hell no. I'll give you a 10-second reprieve. Yes or no. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chris says, hell yeah, let's ride it. I'll never make it the full 8 seconds. I've tried 7.87 seconds and I got thrown off. And trust me, I'm 5'3", 125 pounds. I'm pretty little on a bull. I really wrapped my body in there and I was flexed and toned back then. And that motherfucker threw me off anyway. So bull riding's hard. All right, but I tried it. I came this close. And so I'll consider that a win. All right. And so we're winners here at Paranormal Witchcraft. We're winners at Brotherhood of Male Witches. We don't let the environment around us escalate us. We use containment over chaos every day, all day, and we repeat. Let me challenge you, if I already haven't. We're challenging the paradigm, the status quo, because it's doing nothing but creating discernment, right? And aggravation within our communities because there's a lot of ego getting tossed in there. So let me challenge you again. If somebody watched you handle a failure somewhere in your past, all right, on Facebook, on here on YouTube, in a post, in a live, on say TikTok, wherever, or in your real life, family member, friends, etc. Put yourselves in the mindset, 3-second pause. What would they trust going forward? Would they trust you more because of how you handle it? Or would they trust you less because of how you handled it? We'll give you 10 seconds down below to be completely and blunt. Okay, good. Now, if we think about what happened back then, because I have thousands, literally, that have done that to me personally, okay? So, in my past, what would I would do? Or what would I do? We also speak pig Latin here. What would I do? I would turn myself up because back then I was emotionally immature. All right. It's a human nature sometimes, even when you're professional, that your old characteristics will come out. All right. And that's why I am educating on this because I believe it is one of the best tools we can have in ritual and investigation going forward. One, it pulls responsibility to you, not me, not the rest of the team. It pulls responsibility to you. It makes you look at your own morals. It makes you look at your own ethics now. Are you doing this or not? Now I'm out of the picture. We are out of the picture. You're answering in front of everybody. Do you see how that works? We are morally bonding. And that's important. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Okay? Because we are doing exactly what these algorithms need in the right way versus the escalation. And if you look at all the content creators that use the escalation over time, what happens? They may rise in the short term because of their graphics and the way they're using their contents because they're playing on emotions. But in the long term future, they plateau and they can never, ever, ever get back to that spike again. So that's something a lot of people don't know about that. Look at those people on TV. They are now stuck in an endless cycle, and there's nothing creatively they can do to break out of that cycle. Now they're stuck in a network, they're stuck in a sponsor contract, etc., because they didn't use stuff like this negotiating their businesses. They had to have that instant gratification, so they went around their emotions, they went around their passion. All right, and that's why, all right, they are not using authority. They want everybody to think. They are only using paranormal investigation as a form of escalation, and that is just creating the narrative they are all stuck in now. Okay. What the answer should have been is somebody should have eventually trusted you more. Okay. So over time, Chris, when we made those mistakes, you and me, we've had people step on our toes, slap us. We've been chewed up, spit out, and booed off stage. And yet here we are, all right? We're a little more mature. We're a little more responsible. We're a little less ignorant. That's the point. Here's an escalation response. Authority is not built when everything works. Authority is built when something fails and you don't. All right. That's why we have to practice things as human beings, because we suck at practice. Let's be honest, it's hard enough to get dressed for work some days, let alone pack our lunch, make sure to get gas on the way home or the way to, and the honeydew. Don't forget the eggs and the milk and the bread. You got a big day at work, all right, etc. You're on your way to work, somebody cuts you off, you spilled your coffee, you dropped your cigarette, and now you're escalated. Now you're going to be escalated all day, right? Because you're late and all this shit, right? And so containment over your own chaos. All right, makes sense. Another example, a camera dies during your paranormal investigation. Some escalation practitioner or some escalation investigator, we're being blocked, or there's a spirit in here causing that, etc. Make up your own words there. Here's a containment practitioner and investigator answer to that. Well, team, we're going to switch on our backup cameras that we already have in place because we saw this coming. Give ourselves a minute and a half. Let's take a quick break, go to the bathroom. We'll turn everything on. We'll regroup. We are now using containment and authority over the escalation that is trying to overcome your ritual or investigation. Another example, a live stream example, if you're a content creator, you have audio distortion, or during a ghost hunt, you have audio distortion through your EVPs, etc., whatnot. Escalation, you could hear somebody in the back room going, "Did you feel the energy change?" They're in the back, just they have their nails dug into a chair now. All right, their shoes are halfway out of their feet are halfway out of their shoes, and they're already Scooby looking for the door. All right. Yet they wanted to be here for 6 months and they can't handle it. And they've already escalated the room and you've just started the live stream. Okay. The containment answer should be, we're going to lower the input. We're going to recheck. We're going to take 30-second break, etc. Here's why. Your audience isn't just watching your content. They're watching you. They're watching your lips. They're watching to see if you're getting red, if you're getting irritated. They're listening and watching to see if you'll speed up. They're seeing to see if you'll get tripped up. All right, irrational. All right, start making excuses, etc. They're studying your nervous system completely without telling you, and that is what we do with our eyeballs if we think about it. When you look at somebody on camera, that is what you're doing, whether you subconsciously realize it on a conscious level or not. Whether you realize, sorry, your subconscious is doing that on a conscious level or not. And your nervous system will reveal leadership or immaturity. Your leadership will reveal your maturity level in immaturity or leadership. Right. Yes. And that's the truth, folks. I've been chewed up, spit out, and booed off stage more times than I care to count, much like Eminem. Okay. And here I am. Right? And it's not about proving things to anybody. Okay. It's just the fact when you are somebody that just knows that you are where you are supposed to be, when you are somebody that knows you're on the proper timeline, that is what you're seeing in front of you. Okay. Now, to the people out there who do like to debate and whatnot, I know that it might look like that I'm turned up. Exactly. All right. Exactly looks like it, but it's not. Okay. It's just the fact that everything is catching with the business right now. And what you guys don't know is that this is an excuse, it's a fact, is that it's taken us almost a year to get this kind of traction where we can switch things up, where we can move and pivot, all right, a couple times within a few weeks to make sure we're where we're supposed to be now, which is here. Okay. So hopefully that clarifies anybody on social media you guys might be dealing with, Chris and others. Okay. I'm not going to waste my energy or my words trying to explain that over there anymore. Okay. And I think you guys understand that if you're being mentored or an affiliate under uh, Paranormal Witchcraft or an admin with Brotherhood. All right, those gentlemen understand what I'm trying to do is rein that group in, because what it's doing is social media is trying to kick in the door over there. Okay. And we're trying to desperately and very calmly make sure that the people who want to learn stuff come here. Okay. And that way it gives me time to go over there. All right. And restructure that entire group. We might be losing thousands if that's what it takes. Okay. Because the world is trying to push its will onto Brotherhood of Male Witches, and I will not allow that. Okay. Because it is strictly teaching, strictly learning, strictly sharing, and there's no other agenda in there at all now. Okay. And if you look under the post, it says my DM is open. All right. So that being said, let's get back to the live stream. What we're talking about here is people's nervous systems. All right. Whether you're using them properly or whether you're not using them properly in your ritual, in your discipline, or in your investigations and your discipline there. Let's get practical for a second now on the end of this. Another question. Do you have a written or a repeatable checklist for anything you do? And this does not include the shit in your head that you have a routine, you get up and go to the bathroom. Not that. We're talking about if you're doing a live stream, if you're doing an investigation with a live stream, or if you're doing your ritual work in private, do you have something you're following or not? Yes or no down below. I'll give you 10 seconds. Good answer. Good answer. No. It should not be a mental paranormal investigation checklist. It should not be a mental ritual discipline routine checklist. You should always be there before you start anything. Right? That's like trying to drive your car 100 miles without enough gas. You're just not going to make it. Okay? And you know it, so don't try. Yet everyone does. You'll go to a group on Facebook and you'll ask for help because you think you're a new hat and you don't have to read all the books or put the years of discipline into it. So you think you can go to a large group there and just ask for a spell or a ritual, and then you do it without asking help, without having the proper skills or knowledge, and then you get in more trouble, and that's called fuck around, find out magic. All right? Or fuck around, find out anything, right? If you go to do something that you really don't know how to do, why are you doing it from a place of emotional weakness? I think that's a fair question to leave on the table. Because doesn't somebody know who you are? It's not about being right. It's about being happy. There's too many people on the planet trying to be right, okay? I'm not saying we're right. Remember, this framework will not be for everybody. But if you have enjoyed any of this information, if you have learned anything with us this afternoon, please like, share, or subscribe. It really does help out the growth of this channel, all right? And by the way, my friend up there, where did he go? Dragonborn Rising. Phil knows I say hi because I think I've said hi to him already this morning. So it's nice to see friends of Phil Coldfall and Natalie. Those are great people, and their crews that run the podcast. I forget their names off my hand, but they're really good people. They're really good people. And so, right, you're supposed to have stuff like this that you're following because you want to do it right. Right? So most people are coming from a place of emotional immaturity and they just don't know it. And that's okay. All right. You can use the escalation loop, the containment over chaos, the breath work, the pause, restabilize techniques, etc. Go into meditation. Give yourself a 10-minute timeout. Do a journal for a week. Do something that's going to be positive to help get you to stop doing that if you're doing it. It's not a bad thing if you are. You're a human being. Okay. But if you want to be better and you want to be looked at in a different light, you have to start from somewhere. Spiritual kindergarten is what I call it. So let's get into some more technical examples. All right, you want to check your router, your Ethernet, your upload speed, your bitrate speed, your keyframes, your encoders, your CPUs, your background apps are all gone. TVs are off, phones are off. Walk around for your investigations. All right, before you turn the power on to your equipment, look for environmental. Camera cables all taped down, plugged in correctly, lighting locked into place, mics positioned, gain tested. All right, meaning you've turned them on, they work, they repeat, you can hear them. All right, backup mic available, backup anything available. Now your psychological checklist for your teammates and yourself, psyching yourself up to get into that gear. Breath work. All right. Keep yourselves calm. The objective of the stream or the investigation, all right, is that you want to keep yourselves calm. Keep yourselves in authoritative containment mode. Most practitioners or investigators will skip half of this. They'll blame everything else on chaos instead, like we've been talking about. Structure then, if you adhere to some of this stuff, this structure would then help you all eliminate up to 70% of your mystery. Okay? And so I hope that helps some of you guys. Some people subconsciously depend on their instability because it creates adrenaline, it creates unpredictability, it creates all kinds of things, emotional spikes, storytelling opportunities, makes it easier to steer the narrative, in other words. But the adrenaline is not authority, guys. That's what you guys need to understand. Instability is not power, but it shows you what you can build on. Here's the difference. Escalation creates mystery. Using containment in yourself and how you operate creates mastery. I'll say that again. Escalation creates mastery. Containment creates mastery. I'm sorry. Escalation creates mystery. Containment creates mastery. Escalation creates mystery. All right? Containment creates mastery. And that's true, because that's what we really want to do as human beings anyway, is be the best of that we can be. And mastery will grow channels, it will grow businesses, it will grow humans. Mystery simply only grows instability, which means it's doomed to fail. Instability means it's not stable, it can fall down. All right, guys, let's round this thing out. We are about the 50 range. I'm going to make this about a minute or an hour. All right. I'll give you an example. Channel A, Channel B. One has a lot of cuts. And before the feeds are cut, the facilitator is screaming and yelling and throwing stuff on screen while you guys are watching the stream end. The other channel is someone more like myself that catches themselves, may handle the situation in a more calm manner, excuses themselves properly, apologizes for technical difficulties, and says they will update people, goes off while the camera feed goes off. Which one do you think would get sponsorship down the road if they were a business looking for that? Which one do you think would be invited to collaborate with others? in the community, and which one do you think would survive a 5-year plan? Now, what you guys don't know is we're a hybrid 501c education and structural services, and that is kind of our model there. Is that we are on a 5-year growth plan. Is I understand it takes at least 5 years of working on this 20 hours a day, give or take, sleeping 4 hours or less a day to make this passion a reality. All right. And if this is seeing growth right now, I can tell you guys that I feel like I've won the lottery. That's how this feels for me. So I'm not a million man marcher. I'm not somebody who wants to be a Baggins or other. Okay. It is sometimes perceived that way. And I'm quite attuned to what do I look like. And again, that's why I will insert these things into my lives. All right. Is to challenge those people who may be saying I'm this and I'm not. Okay. You've heard it from the horse's mouth every time. All right, so use your discernment out there when you're doing rituals and investigations as well. I would like to thank Phil and his crew for the opportunity to be interviewed a few weeks back. It was one of the most nerve wracking and one of the most proud moments I've ever had in my entire life. Before that, it was Dustin's, the Flying Chariots interview. Dustin showed up. All right, those were some of the highlights in the past few months, and then we're about to have a third in a couple days where I get to shake Matt Hornick's hand. I get to meet their team with my gorgeous wife and our chief financial officer here at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC for the first time face to face. So, from where I'm standing, friends, it doesn't matter that I have technical difficulties. It does not matter that I cannot stream properly on Facebook because I have all the love and support I need right here. Okay. And so that is where I run my world is I try to look at the bad and find the good. All right. And I hope more of you do that going forward. Whether you're a practicer or a learning investigator or an advanced investigator who has a beef with some of those individuals, I hope that I have helped give you guys some different type of tools. The most important tool we have in practicing ritualistic spell work or investigation or researching is ourselves and how we conduct ourselves first and foremost. Drama creates short-term spikes emotionally. Containment will build long-term dominance. Isolate the variables or create more. When something breaks, do you change one thing or do you change five? So if your charger breaks on your way to work this morning, do you go in and buy another one? Or do you go buy a block that plugs into the lighter plus the charger cord itself? Do you buy two things instead of just what you need, right? Do you do only what you must, but instead do way too much, okay? And that's why I just said what I look like looks like what it looks like, but it's not. All right, because it does. There's nothing I can do about it. You guys either think I'm trying too hard or you don't. Doesn't matter to me, and I give no fucks. But anyways, let's move on. So now when I have a problem, like the other day, that caught me off guard. You saw me getting upset. I cut the feed. I've spent the last 3 days getting back to this point. Okay. That was using more containment versus the drama emotional side, right? Trust me, the emotional side wanted to smash. That's not the appropriate response. It will not help me get back onto live streaming. Right? Right. Okay. We have a lot of comments going on. Apparently, I've triggered some people. Do I? So we have a question from Dragonborn Rising. Uh, Chris, can you make that a top comment or pin him? Whatever you can do as moderator, and please bear with Chris; he's learning as well. So Dragonborn Rising asks Tobias, do you raise protection for yourself and others at a paranormal investigation before you start? Honestly, I've never been to a paranormal investigation where I was allowed to do that. So the short answer is no. But do I? That's something we're going to be talking about more on Friday when we meet with Blue Mountain Paranormal. All right, that's exactly kind of why me and him have teamed up. okay, without giving too much of an Easter egg away to you guys, all right, is there are ways and there are things that you can do, all right, blessing properties, okay, incantations and whatnot, all right. So that's about all I'm going to say, okay. But yes, there is, and yes, I will be, okay. So thank you for calling attention to that. Very good example. Great engagement piece. Thank you so much for that. Somebody give that motherfucker a medal. All right. I love you. I can see why you're friends with Phil. All right. You're just like Phil. I love that. You do too? Oh, there you go. So I'm apparently not the only one. All right. And I believe Matt and team may do something like that. I'm not going to speak for them. Okay. Yes, yes. Okay. So there you go. We have a couple of our Warrior Witch Army supporters in the crowd here, mentees also as well, Tracy and Chris, if you guys must know. So I have 5 of you. All right, that's about as much as I can handle right now, okay? Because 2 more reached out yesterday. I'm not kidding you. Like, this is how I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. I cannot get left alone, and that's why I'm so grateful, and that's why I'm showing so much goddamn humility to you guys, okay? Sorry, YouTube bleep that out loud, but my heart's my heart's getting a little sappy right now, so I'll focus back on the live stream again. But I'm extremely elated by the support I have from Phil and others. I really am. So drama only creates short-term spikes. Containment just builds long-term authority. All right, keeps you responsible. All right, keeps you safe. That's what I want for all of you. I want you guys to be safe. I want you to practice safely. I want you guys to investigate safely. And if you don't know how to do any of this shit, ask somebody that does. Okay, don't just take every Tom, Dick, and Harry's word for it on social media right now, please. So when something breaks, do you change one thing or a lot? All right. And it doesn't matter to me which one you are. I see the lag, yes. Most people should be adjusting their bit rate and not using their emotions. You should be switching your encoder and not blaming the collective. You get the idea here, okay? Because when you do that, that is chaos thinking, and that is what social media is right now, sadly, is it is stuck in chaotic thinking. All right, and that's nothing against the corporation. It is the account holders that are stuck in chaos mentality thinking. They believe anything that they will be told right now. All right, it's pretty sad, it really is. There's no intelligence on social media, none, very little of. And again, not calling anybody out, okay? It's just a simple truth from where I'm standing. I see very little intelligence. It'd be nice to see more. It literally would be a breath of fresh air to see intelligence. So if you freeze, you should stop, identify the system or the symptom, all right? Whatever's causing the problem, you should change just one variable, all right? Then you should observe again, etc. All right? So don't immediately go from 3, 2, 1. Right? And you haven't trained yourself to be a magical or a paranormal astronaut. You're going to get lost up there in the space of the paranormal and the craft world without one of us next to you, all right, with that silver astral projection tie, making sure you're okay. All right. And so we're trying desperately to keep people reined in here with this framework. All right. And if you don't agree, that's great. Hate mail's free. Okay. And it'll just be archived. Okay. But for the people who agree, thank you so much. I think there's a lot of you out there. I really do. Structure produces real data. Structure produces credible data. Data produces clarity. Clarity produces confidence. Confidence builds trust. Trust builds rapport. And now my business is an actual good business. All right. Instead of being termed chaotic, instead of being termed blah, 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 blah. You understand? I think so. Containment is doing the research to get the knowledge, to get the skills so you don't fuck it up. That's what I'm saying. And humans fuck things up a lot. We do it every day, all day, every day, and it doesn't take us all day to do it. What we don't do is apologize to the person next to us when we argue with them. What we don't do is apologize for causing an accident. What we don't do is apologize for ruining people's reputations. All right, that is escalation, and we're seeing it everywhere. All right, and so take your pick, all right, but choose your hard in life is what I'm saying. All right, life's hard right now. All right, you don't have to fight with the rest of the world to be happy is my point. Let them fight you if they want. Pay them no mind. Brush yourself off, dust your suit, all right, put your blazer back on, hold your head high, get your eyes focused where you need to go. All right, and it's that easy, my friends. Okay. Here's the deeper truth as I walk us out this afternoon. Here's the uncomfortable part. And if you thought it's been uncomfortable all podcast, wait till now. There's a huge chaotic setup, and it's mirroring chaotic inner structure all over social media platforms, especially when it comes to the paranormal community. It is self will run riot. There's no other way to term that. What you're seeing is self will run riot, more simplistically. And what that's telling you is most of them aren't coming from a place like I am, like Paranormal Witchcraft and Brotherhood of Male Witches is, of true authenticity, meaning we're not competing with anyone or anything out there. We're just doing our thing. Okay? This is why we're doing that. Because the chaotic mirror is here and it's on social media platforms and it's being mirrored back and forth. All right. What we're trying to do is be a blade, all right, in the darkness that is the internet and this AI craze. That's simply all we're trying to do. We're trying to ask some really hard, paradigm challenging questions because we see writing on the walls. That's all. Now, these are not the opinions of YouTube, all right, and these are not necessarily the opinions of all my affiliates or business partners, friends, followers, family, or whatnot, all right? And remember, YouTube, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. I will say that until I know I don't have to say that, because I really, and just being respectful when I say that. All right? If your cables are tangled, if your workflow is improvised, if your stream prep is last minute, all right, mine's not last minute. It's inadvertent naivety because I don't have business owners in my corner right now. I don't have actual business owners going, Tobias, do this exactly. I have people going, well, try this. This might help. And it's a more vague answer. And I'm finding my own. Okay. And so I can see how that looks like how I am activating. I'm not. All right. But let's continue. So that's the truth. That's what it is my tech is tangled with things I have to deal with as a business owner and in a very real human way. And point blank, I can't blame you guys for it, is what that's saying. And what you're seeing online is similar behavior. It's trying to build authority off of getting you guys to go like, oh, they're really, all right. And so that's called deception. All right. And we don't operate in deception here at Paranormal Witchcraft, is what I'm trying to say. And it's rarely just technical in the paranormal and metaphysical worlds. Containment in technology trains containment in self. Containment in technology is containment in self. You're teaching yourself how to be a good human being by teaching yourself how to be a good magician and by teaching yourself how to be a good investigator, by not effing off, by not screwing people over, and by not digitally slapping people across the face. Okay? You're showing everybody respect. You're showing everybody that it's important that you're happy, not right. That is probably the best practices attitude I can advise here this afternoon. Yes, everybody should be working towards being a leader of their world. And right now, what I'm seeing all over the internet is people who want to be leaders of people only. And there's a huge difference of that. They want that attention versus we don't want the attention. We want to see people thrive. We want to see people enable themselves. We want to see people be responsible for themselves. Huge difference. Looks very similar. We understand. Stay with us. Okay? We're not done yet. By the way, I'm going to do a surprise poll right now, spontaneously. If you've liked anything you've liked, comment below what it was. All right? So, where else in your lives could you be possibly improvising if you are? And if you're not, then you don't need to worry about it, right? And that's most of us. We don't need to worry about that. Now, why I do this? Because this is why I beat the basics into my brain. Because it's the basics that cause the biggest problems down the road. And the biggest problems down the road are our egos, all right, and our miscommunications. Those two things will cause anything to fail within a year. Point blank true, doesn't even need to be scientifically proven. Right? If you can't stop the infighting, you'll fail within a year. If you can't stop the financial hemorrhaging, you'll fail within a year. If you can't fix your personality traits, you'll fail within a year. Take your pick. The list goes on and on. Welcome, Tobias Josephson. This is the type of human being you're talking to. I don't just deep dive, okay? I freebase jump, deep dive, all right? And then I come back out of a hole and I tell you guys what I've discovered, okay? And so that is just how I am. I don't just see this table. I see a table that acts as storage, that acts as an altar. It's not just what it's called. That is what I see. The world isn't just the world to me. The world has microcosms and macrocosms, meaning we are the ants in the universe's reign of consciousness. And we need to stop acting like we know what they are doing up there, is what this means. All right. Stop acting like Godheads. All right. When it comes to being business owners. Okay. Let's finish this up. Where else in your life could you be improvising instead of systemizing? Where else in your life could you be improvising instead of systemizing? What you guys are watching me do, and both groups do and their teams, is we are now systemizing. It has been 10 months of trial and error, all right? Falling on our face, getting back up, falling on our face, getting back up, falling on our face, getting back up. That is how you learn, all right? Your niche is how you learn who you are, and it's how you learn where you want to go, all right? So now you guys are seeing where we've been planning to go for about a year now at Paranormal Witchcraft, and for about a year now at Brotherhood of Male Witches on Facebook. Okay, let's finish this bad boy up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Each and every one of you are complete and absolute baddies, and baddies like bad asses. All right, and you have the hearts of angels. If the life in this world have beat the shit out of you, and you are still a good human being to someone today, I give you respect. Okay? Is it your finances? Is it your scheduling? Is it your workplace? Is it your content planning? Are you learning too? Right? Are you watching your attitude so you don't get too tired, too sleepy, too restless? Take your pick. You have to stay in balance. If you don't stay in balance, you are out of balance. What happens when you're out of balance? Things don't work properly. Your rituals don't work properly. Your investigation's not going to go the way you want it to. You're going to fill the empty space because you can't handle this. 5 seconds of silence. It won't kill you. You just have to practice at it, okay? Structure compounds. In other words, it teaches us discipline subconsciously. But chaos compounds too, just twice as fast. And I'll tell you why. Because it produces emotional spikes and because it produces the adrenaline. All right. And if that's the case with you, then maybe you're just an adrenaline junkie and not a paranormal investigator. Maybe you're an adrenaline junkie and not, all right, a craft. All right, and maybe you didn't know it. Okay. Let's finish this up. Now, the other one for tonight will be 10 p.m. Now, I realize Chris Stamp may not be able to make it, but it will be 10 p.m. All right, and it will be Brotherhood related. And we have some things to talk about over there as well tonight. All right, they are not an LLC, all right, but we are changing the discipline and restructuring as well. All right, but they very well may be by the end of the year if that's what I have to do. Choose your compound is what I'm saying. Choose your hard. So if you're emotionally unstable out there, you're not really being blocked, okay? You're not really being exposed. Remember, we aren't here to challenge anybody, all right? But you are being exposed to the level of your preparation, the strength of your personal structure. You're showing the maturity with every response you give on social media. Friends, followers, warrior, witches, army. Those are the supporters of and friends of and mentees of Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Containment over chaos isn't just some words. It isn't just a slogan that I came up with or that we came up with at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Whether they consciously know it or not, they're included in everything I do. Everything I do is for our teammates. Everything. It is not for me. It is for their highest good. That is why I chose us to be a 501c hybrid, because I really want to give more than we take. So when you buy a mug, it's a donation. It's paying it forward, and then I pay it forward again. And to God's, in front of the whole world. That's the only reason it was set up. It's a way to accept donations that's not going to bother me because I have a hard time of accepting help. That is why it was created. That's it. Okay. Because I will never ask people for help, rarely. I do nowadays, but it took me years to get to this point. Okay. So I'm not a salesman. I don't care if people ever go to the Shopify. All right. But if you do, now you know why. It goes back to give more. Okay, to pay it back. Because if somebody buys something there, it's a blessing. I thank the universe. My heart gets happy. Fonda gets happy. We immediately look at what we can use it for. Right? It gets put into account and it's for the affiliate business owners. Those are the team members of Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. All right. That means until they get onto their feet and until they get their business foundation going, I and Fonda am helping carry the foundation. All right. And the best thing we can do for our foundation is come to YouTube. We want to help people discipline, analyze, and realign their nervous systems. That's what we're really trying to do. Yeah, I know you won't. It's okay, brother. I'm good having you once a day. That's all right. And you're learning a lot of shit as it goes. You're mentoring. And I would really like to see all my mentees really spend, I'm going to be gentle. Push yourself, hour a day. Read something. Okay? Read something. It's like we say in Brotherhood of Male Witches, and it was out of aggravation, but it was funny and it stuck. It was read a fucking book. Right? It became one of the bingo squares. I'll actually show you. And I'm the owner of Brotherhood of Male Witches, but again, the admins are me. All right. So when Johnny, when Trevor and all them are speaking and they do anything in their admin level, all right, we are all equal in that group. I may be the guy who was crazy enough to come up with the idea, but there are 9 people that own and run that group. All right. And if you look, it literally says, okay, because we had such a hard time. It was ridiculous. And it was when memes really first started coming out. And that's why the AI meme rule thing was killed. And that's why I stopped using AI, because for a month, if you guys remember, I was using it and oh my God. So I stopped using it because all I really need it for is to set up my scripts. That's it. That's why I use it. It sets up my scripts. That's it. Helps me keep myself organized. I like that features. I don't really care about all the cool graphic things it can do, because I know within 5 years it's going to be standard. We're not going to have to be paying for any of this crap. Okay? Choose your heart in life. Containment over chaos is not a slogan. It is a nervous system discipline. It is a technical discipline. It is a spiritual discipline. And I'm just simply saying, if you would care to master it like I am, I created it. So, of course, I'm acting with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be up here on screen. I'm not the type that will say, do as I say, not as I do. I never have been. I never will be, no matter what another human being that doesn't look or sound like me tells you. Okay? So if you master your spiritual discipline, if you master your technical discipline, if you master self, okay, things get a little bit better. You start talking from a place of authority. You start showing confidence. You start remaining calm. That are the red flags of positivity to let you guys know that you are slowly getting your emotions and your skills in your body, your emotions in your body to sync, if you will. All right. And you'll be much more level. All right. And you'll have much more positive spikes. All right. For growth and less negative. All right. For personal kinks. Blessed be nothing. Not a glitch. Not a lag. Not an outburst. Not interference should destabilize you. If you look at my social media presence, I do a lot of say nothing. There's a reason why I use a lot of say nothing, do nothing, composure. Okay, one, there's too many people out there who want that. Okay, and two, I don't have the time. Because your power shouldn't be emotional, it should actually be structural with your emotions. Do you see the difference? Okay. When you can sync yourselves, when you can sync your bodies, when you can sync your mind, it will sync your technology, it will sync your practice, it will sync your ritual, and everything flows for you. Okay? Tomorrow we'll go even deeper, 1 p.m. here for Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. We will be talking about how instability in investigations mirrors instability in personal identity. That will be the title. I will say it again. How your instability in investigations mirrors your instability in your identity. All right. And we will be talking about that tomorrow. Be here 1 p.m., all right, or just thereafter. I am only human. And we will be structured. We will be calm. And we will be contained. Tobias Josephson, and we are Paranormal Witchcraft, LLC. Have your and blessed. We will see you tonight. Right back here of you. And bold now, huh, Dragon? My friend, I'll be 50. All right. Very good. Speak easy. Oh, I'm sorry. Dragonborn Rising. Holy crap. I didn't mean any offense. So apologies. Right on. Well, it's nice to have you nonetheless. I think I've seen you on Facebook a couple times too.